Hi, everyone. Welcome to the GoldFish Report. I am your host and researcher, Louisa. It's Saturday, August 22nd, 2020. It's GoldFish Report number 553. This is week 185 POTUS Report. It's our weekend edition. I want to make an announcement right off the top of the program here that we will be away for a few days. There will not be a political theater report on Monday on BitChute. We will have that for you later in the week. So we will be back next week, and we will definitely be back for our POTUS report on Saturday, but not on Wednesday. There won't be a midweek POTUS report. So a lot going on. I wanted to, I'm hoping everybody is enjoying the last weeks of summer, technically summer in the United States anyway, and other places around the world. There's a lot to report on. So let's get to it. We have here a background call regarding, we had the Prime Minister, rather, the Prime Minister of Iraq, who had visited the president at the White House. And, security was a big issue that they talked about. Excuse me. They had economic issues, and aid, and on the assistance front there. So it's a critical time for both the United States and for Iraq. We stand shoulder to shoulder as partners against not only the enduring defeat of ISIS, but also against common threats to internal stability and security. Our goal for Iraq, we seek to further in this conversation a stable, secure, and prosperous Iraq that is a constructive neighbor in the region. We've got a range of things to discuss. As you all know, this takes place during the context of a strategic dialogue with Iraq that encompasses all of our shared goals and interests. Pardon me, Secretary of State Pompeo was fortunate enough to host the senior delegation of Iraqi officials accompanying the Prime Minister on his visit. Many of those officials joined the president and cabinet officials in the White House to advance and further those discussions. All of this takes place under the guise of the Strategic Framework Agreement between Iraq and the United States. It is, as I intimated earlier, dedicated to building Iraq's defensive capabilities, providing security assistance, and working with Iraq to improve its stability and security. And this obviously includes preventing the reemergence of ISIS and addressing other internal security threats, according to the president. That was his quote. It's also, of course, important because security is the bedrock of stability, which provides conditions necessary for economic growth and prosperity. As you know, recent events between the coronavirus pandemic and the decline of oil prices have created a budget conundrum for Iraq, and it seeks to resolve it. And the United States is willing and able to work with them to improve conditions and to work towards growth and prosperity. There's a lot more to this transcript. You would like to come to the goldfishreport.blogspot.com and check it out. I'm not going to go over all of it. And I also, so sorry that I didn't mention this at the beginning of the report, but I'd like to also welcome all of the listeners on Ascension Radio. I want to thank Ascension Radio for simulcasting this live stream tonight. So thank you to Audrey Ewis and to Evie, who work the back channels there at Ascension Radio. So continuing, let me just check in with the live chat to make sure I'm not muted, and I just want to say hello to everybody. I'm not even sure if I'm live right now. How funny. Yeah, everybody's taking advantage of this last weekend in the summer. And I hope everybody is. I mean, I know I'm going to be for sure, trying to anyway. So let's get back to the report here. I did do a midweek report, so if you want to find out what the president did in his policy and in terms of events, you can go take a look at our midweek report for the first half of the week. Here we have, again, this was a topic of conversation again in the middle of the week, or earlier in the week. Today was an update on the border wall. President Trump traveled yesterday to Yuma, Arizona. This was on August 19th, where he met with Border Patrol officers and gave Americans an update on the border wall with Mexico. This administration has basically funded us for 733 miles of wall. Lieutenant General Todd Semeny of the Army Corps of Engineers said 49 different projects are all going in the ground across 4 states. As the president said, as I reported on Wednesday, in 2 weeks we will have hit 300 miles of wall, according to the president. The new wall system is one piece of President Trump's larger agenda to protect America's security and sovereignty. Last year, he negotiated historic agreements with Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras to help stop the flood of illegal immigration across the border. Mexico even deployed thousands of troops to help. Well, that's amazing. That's an amazing deal. So border apprehensions have fallen by more than 70% since last May as a result. American law enforcement officers are stopping crime, drugs, and gangs in their tracks. So far this fiscal year, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has seized over 100,000 pounds of cocaine, over 83,000 pounds of meth, and over 2,700 pounds of fentanyl. Border Patrol apprehended 976 alien gang members last year, including 464 from the vile MS-13 gang. MS-13's motto is kill, rape, control. Not good, not good. Border wall leads to huge reductions in human trafficking. You're setting records at the border, President Trump told Border Patrol officers yesterday. You've been unbelievable. Border protection is more important than ever as the coronavirus pandemic spreads globally. Strong border security is crucial to helping slow the spread of the disease. A lot of the procedures that we are putting in place today are having a real impact on applying a consequence to those that are entering the country illegally, Acting Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf said. We are returning 90% of those individuals within 120 minutes to date. That's a big accomplishment. That's amazing, folks. That is really, really amazing. Here is a photo of the new border wall system going up. If I can get this to cooperate. Here we go. See if we can take a look at that picture. That's huge, folks. Look at that. That's huge. I don't know how they keep it standing like that, but they are engineers at it, so they do know what they're doing. Okay, so I'm gonna just check in and say hello. Oh, there's nobody in the live stream. Well, this has to be funny. This is funny that YouTube is censoring me. Okay, that's how it goes. What are you gonna do? Okay, what are you gonna do? You can't do anything, right? So let's keep moving along. This is pre-recorded, by the way. I usually like to do the live stream, but I'm sorry, it will be made available later. So it's not that it's pre-recorded, it is live. Let's keep moving along. Video of the day, Democrats left town, President Trump took action. And here's our beautiful, lovely, intelligent, bright, witty, and just amazing Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany. And let's hear what she has to say about the border.
Nancy Pelosi. The House is in recess. House and Senate Democrats left town after failing to compromise and make a deal to provide relief to the American people. While Nancy Pelosi and her colleagues went home, this president remained hard at work. President Trump took executive action, including stopping evictions, providing unemployment insurance, pausing student loan payments, cutting the payroll tax, which put money in the pockets of all Americans. Democrats apparently were unable to stick around to make a deal. Now, suddenly, Democrats will be rushing back to Washington. But why? The answer? The United States Postal Service. It's a stunning turn of events. Democrats went home after accomplishing nothing. No deal on stimulus checks, no deal on small business relief, no deal on eviction protections. The concerns of everyday Americans were not the concerns of Democrats on Capitol Hill. So, where is Nancy Pelosi? She and her Democrat colleagues will be back in Washington soon to pursue their latest manufactured crisis, the Postal Service. Democrats denied a $10 billion offer for the U.S. Postal Service by this president before they went on recess. But now they're back to pursue the latest Democrat manufactured crisis. It's sad, but it's clear where Democrats' priorities stand. And with that, I'll take questions.
Yeah,
Where
so
is
it's very
Nancy?
obvious. I mean, if anybody saw the Democrat convention, I saw clips of it. I did not sit there and watch it. I could not, get myself to do that because, from the first night I did see clips. I did see some of it, and it was basically, a joke. It was like an MTV, special, right? For those who remember MTV. But as she said, the latest manufactured crisis from the DNC in order to get more money to fund their terrorist activities. I mean, they've really become a terrorist. Sorry, but if you think that Black Lives Matter or Antifa is a terrorist organization, well, you need to expand your thinking and realize that it's all coming from the Democrats. And they, I think we need to expand our definition on what constitutes and what definitely what constitutes a terrorist organization. But moving on, let's continue. Here we have a photo of the day from the president. I know our viewers, I'm sorry, our listeners on Ascension Radio can't see this, but you can come to the blog and take a look at it at a later time. This is the president with U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers in Yuma, Arizona, August 18th, 2020. So, and they're all wearing masks. It's like, folks, I'm so sick of these masks. It's not even funny. I'm sorry. I don't want to digress too much from the report, but aren't you all just getting a little sick and tired of having to wear these masks everywhere we go? When nobody's dropping dead, where's the bodies? Where's the bodies piling up from this horrific epidemic, this horrific pandemic, this black plague on humanity that we're all being forced and we're all just going along with it? It's really what's next? What is next, right? So they have our kids going back to school in these little plastic bubbles. I'm telling you, folks, we are losing this country, losing it. So here's Kayleigh McEnany. This is part of that news conference. You can sit here and you can come to the blog and take a look. I don't read the transcripts in their entirety. I just read excerpts from it. So here we have again, West Wing reads how the White House prepared for a pandemic. The Trump administration was well aware of the threat of a pandemic before the novel coronavirus emerged. In fact, a White House report produced last September laid the groundwork for President Trump's historic push for a vaccine, now known as Operation Warp Speed, according to the Wall Street Journal. The report discussed how the lack of private market incentives had led to underinvestment in developing and using innovative technologies that can quickly produce vaccines for a new virus. When COVID-19 appeared a few months later, the administration expeditiously applied the report's lessons on the value of public-private partnership to speed vaccine innovation and production. Now, new vaccines are being developed at previously unimaginable speed. President Trump recently delivered on our recommendation to suspend the payroll tax. The Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget estimates that Trump's tax deferral may put $100 billion worth of extra pay back in the pockets of U.S. workers through year end, according to Real Clear Markets. Chicago police officers have been retiring at double the normal rate recently, raising concerns that the number of new hires won't keep pace with the number leaving. Who wants to stay in this environment? The mayor doesn't back us, the Chicago Fraternal Order of Police president said. Read more about it in the Chicago Sun-Times. Science is one of the strongest weapons that we have against this virus, which is why President Trump has enlisted our unrivaled research community in the fight. Since the start of the pandemic, the Trump administration has taken several actions to engage scientists in academia, industry, and government to understand and defeat this disease, writes Kevin Drogemeyer, President Trump's senior advisor for the Washington Examiner. So here we have more transcript here from President Trump's trip to Yuma, Arizona, to the border protection. Let me just scroll through this. See, they're very long, so I'm not going to That's it for that day. Let me just check in with my live stream and see. Hello, everybody. How are you? Thank you so much. Good to see you. Yes, sick of the lies. Exactly, folks. I mean, when is this going to end? You know, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Let me just keep moving along, and then I'll come back and say hello to everybody again. So here we have 1600 daily. President Trump issues joint statement with Prime Minister of Iraq. So the president, as we reported earlier, welcomed Prime Minister Mustafa al Kadhimi of Iraq to the White House. I'm sorry, not Israeli. I have a little dyslexia. I can't believe how bad it is right now. Because I'm tired, probably. The Iraqi leader's first visit since assuming office in May. Please forgive me for that. Okay, we're down to a very small number of soldiers in Iraq now. We defeated the ISIS caliphate in Iraq and Syria. President Trump said, I think our relationship with Iraq now is better than ever before. Here's a video of President Trump talking about this. You can listen to him.
Office.
Let's see, make this a little bit bigger for you.
When we came into office, ISIS was running rampant all over Iraq and Syria, and we knocked out the 100% of the ISIS caliphate. But the Obama administration did a very, very poor job. They were running rampant all over, and we came in and we did a real job, and we got rid of that, and that was a good thing. And now we're working with Iraq. They use the great American dollar, which is the most powerful currency in the world, and they're starting to do well, and we are with them, and this gentleman in particular, we've developed a very good relationship, and hopefully it's going to be very strong for your country.
That's wonderful. So it's really great to see President Trump, really building bridges with Iraq after what had happened. What do we do? It's our obligation to be there and help them rebuild and be successful. America is leading the way to a more peaceful and prosperous Middle East without fighting endless wars and without making terrible deals that harm our national security. Just last week, President Trump secured a landmark agreement between Israel and the United Arab Emirates, as the UAE became the first major Arab country to recognize Israel in over a quarter century. Elsewhere in the Middle East, while the disastrous Obama nuclear deal funneled billions of dollars to Iran, the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, President Trump's maximum pressure campaign is isolating and crippling the Iranian regime. Iran doesn't have so much money to give to the world anymore, to the terrorists, to give to Al Qaeda and various other groups of people that they were funding. President Trump said, they have to keep their own regime. Here I go again. Is it my dyslexia or is it just the stigmatism in my eyes? Something's wrong with my eyes. And it's not easy for them. Like Ronald Reagan, peace through strength is President Trump's approach to foreign policy. Peace through stability is another way to put it, Daniel McCarthy writes in The American Conservative this week. Bush's war and Obama's idea of peace both built up Iranian power, McCarthy says. Donald Trump can succeed where the others fail because he is transactional, not ideological, and he looks out for the American interest. President Trump is bringing our great American soldiers home. Let's listen to what he has to say here.
Obviously, will be gone. We've brought it down to a very, very low level. We deal with our attacks. We take care of those attacks, and we take care of them very easily. Nobody has the weaponry we have. Nobody has the anything of what we have. We have the finest, the greatest military in the world. When somebody hits us, we hit back harder than they hit us. So we handle it. In addition to that, Iraq has been very helpful where necessary. But we have been taking our troops out of Iraq fairly rapidly, and we look forward to the day when we don't have to be there. And hopefully Iraq can live their own lives and they can defend themselves, which they've been doing long before we got involved.
Very true. Very, very true. Actually, you know what? I don't think that was screen shared, folks, was it? Let's see. Yeah, but you could hear But you can hear it. Okay. Sorry about that. I thought it was screen shared. Let me continue. Here's another one. Let's see. This is on jobs. Here's Larry Kudlow.
If the other side wants to talk about the economy,
There you go.
that'd be just fine. We inherited the worst, slowest economic recovery since, I don't know, probably the Great Depression. And secondly, in 2016, directly before President Trump came in, the economy was teetering very close to recession. It was on the front end of a recession. And so the president's policies of low taxes, deregulation, unleashing energy, free and fair trade deals to improve exports for manufacturers and farmers, those policies generated tremendous boom, 3.5% unemployment. The other side could only dream about the low unemployment. Minority groups, blacks, Hispanics, Asians, women, and so forth had record low unemployment rates. I'm happy to take that on any time.
Okay,
Look,
so that's it. So, so again, you know, the president's doing great economically for the country. I hope everybody was able to hear it. Can hear it? No? Ha ha ha. Okay. Tell me if you can hear it. Was that okay? Great. I am trying to get it all together, folks. I do hope to be able to get an external microphone so I can eliminate some of these problems that we've been having lately, that I've been having lately, I should say. Okay, here we go. Let's continue. We inherited the worst, slowest economic recovery since, I don't know, probably the Great Depression, as you just heard Larry Kudlow say. In 2016, the economy was teetering very close to recession, as he just stated. President Trump's policies of low taxes, deregulation, and unleashing energy, free and fair trade deals to improve exports for manufacturers and farmers, those policies generated a tremendous boom. Unemployment plummeted to 3.5% as a result. Now, the great American comeback from COVID-19 is already underway. Last week, President Trump shared 6 graphs that reveal the fastest recovery in history. The first one is the jobs boom in full swing. The second is the manufacturing boom in full swing. The third is the auto market showing rapid recovery. The fourth is housing markets quickly rebounds. The fifth is U.S. stocks lead the world, and they do indeed. And the sixth is shallowest contraction. So here's a photo of the day. Here's the president before, as he boards Air Force One before departing for Pennsylvania. And here we also have the president nominating his intent to nominate and appoint individuals to key administration posts. You have Andrew Lawler of California to be Assistant Secretary of State for Oceans and International Environmental and Scientific Affairs. He has some background about him. You can come to the blog and take a look at that. Zachary T. Haynes of Ohio to be member of the Board of Trustees of the Harry S. Truman Scholarship Foundation. You also have, again, a little bit of their backgrounds on this. You can come to the blog and take a look. Also, we have Peter Kursnow of Ohio to be Vice Chairperson of the United States Commission on Civil Rights. We have Aaron Ringel of Virginia to be an Assistant Secretary of State, Global Public Affairs. He's also intending to nominate John Finley of New York to be member of the Advisory Council on Historic Preservation. We have Christopher King of South Carolina to be member of the Advisory Council on Historic Preservation, and Luke Nichter of Ohio to be member of the Advisory Council on Historic Preservation. There's more here. There's a transcript of this bilateral meeting with the president and the Iraqi prime minister. You can come to the blog and you can take a look at the transcript here. Let's see if we have, what else we have. This is a joint statement. Let me see how long this is. I might want to read this to you guys. Yes, it's very short, actually. Okay, I will read this. This is the president's. So this is the joint statement of President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi. The strategic partnership between the United States and Iraq is based on a mutual desire for security and prosperity. Together, the United States-led global coalition to defeat ISIS and the Iraqi security forces destroyed the ISIS physical caliphate, and we continue to work in close coordination to ensure that ISIS is rendered incapable of posing a threat to Iraq and every other nation. We reaffirm our commitment to long-term security cooperation to build Iraq's military capability and address threats to our shared interests. Our security collaboration strengthens the foundation of our efforts to expand economic, humanitarian, political, and cultural cooperation. The COVID-19 pandemic further underscores the importance of working together to build a prosperous and stable Iraq that provides jobs and services to the Iraqi people and serves as a stabilizing force for the Middle East. And of course, we have the West Wing reports the Israel UAE deal proves that President Trump's foreign policy is working. Of course, as we know, while the Democrats are doing nothing but complaining how much they hate President Trump and how they are offering no policy whatsoever when it comes to what they're offering during their Democrat National Convention. In contrast to the Democrats, the president has not stopped working. The Israel UAE deal proves that President Trump's foreign policy is working. President Trump has so far been a remarkably successful foreign policy president. His success lies in his ability to identify America's national interest clearly and pursue it without regard to outdated ideological investments. Daniel McCarthy writes in The American Conservative. From China to Iran, the new Middle East deal between Israel and the United Arab Emirates. Donald Trump can succeed where the others fail because he is transactional, not ideological, as we reported earlier. And he looks out for the American interest, which is peace through stability, rather than trying to bring about peace through perfection. More than 1,000 arrests have been made in major metropolitan cities since the Department of Justice launched Operation Legend in July. Daniel Wallace reports, Operation Legend is the heart of the federal government's response to this upturn in violent crime, Attorney General William Barr said, reported in Fox News. Catholic churches across the country have been open for 4 months since shelter-in-place orders were lifted. The good news for Catholic churches following CDC guidelines, no outbreaks of COVID-19 have been linked to church attendance. Dr. Paul Sislak, Timothy Flanagan, and Thomas McGovern write in Real Clear Science. Millions of Californians have lost power in recent days amid a brutal heat wave, and state regulators warn of more outages in the days and perhaps years to come. Welcome to California's green new normal. California's independent system operator has been warning for years that the state's increasing dependence on intermittent renewables, especially solar, is making it harder to ensure reliable power, the Wall Street Journal reports. We have the president also giving a press briefing in the press briefing room. And he talks about his continued progress against China virus and other things he's talking about. He was directing the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, to notify the UN Security Council that the United States intends to restore virtually all of the previously suspended United Nations sanctions on Iran. It's a snapback. It's not uncommon. The president said, 2 years ago, I withdrew the United States from the disastrous Iran nuclear deal, which was a product of the Obama-Biden foreign policy failure. A failure like few people have seen. In terms of the amount of money we paid for absolutely nothing and a short-term deal. This deal funneled tens of billions of dollars to Iran, $150 billion to be exact, plus $1.8 billion in cash, which I don't even know that the president had the authority to give. That was Obama. He gave $1.8 billion in cash. Just another great deal. That turned out to be a total disaster. It would have funded all of the chaos and the bloodshed and the terror in the region and all throughout the world. And I won't say anything because I don't like saying it, but Iran doesn't have so much money to give to the world anymore, to the terrorists, to give to Al-Qaeda and various other groups of people that they were funding. They have to keep their own regime together, and it's not easy for them. So you can read more here about the president's statements that he made in that press conference. So he was talking about a lot of things, and this China virus, as he calls it, certainly doesn't bode well for relations between the United States and China, but that would be a question I would ask if I was there at the press briefing room. And I will be back one day. So let me just step in to say hello to everybody. Yeah, okay. I don't know about housing markets. I don't know. I think what's happening, folks. You have people really pouring out of the cities, out of New York, obviously out of Portland, going into the suburbs, going into other areas. Uh, they don't want they don't want to be involved in uh, the violence that's going on when the governors of the states don't stop it. They're not calling on the president. He said this numerous times in his public statements that all the governors have to do is call upon the federal government, call the president, and he'll send in the National Guard. But they are refusing to do that. They're refusing. Their police can't handle it, or they're being given stand down orders, whatever the case may be. I feel bad. I really do feel bad for the people who live in these cities because it's not getting better for the people who live there. So let me just continue with some more policy and then a little bit more news about the president this week. The president approved California disaster declaration. This has to do with the wildfires. So we'll keep moving on from that. Also, Puerto Rico emergency declaration. This has to do with the tropical storm Laura. So that has been going through the area. There's a couple of hurricanes down there right now. Here's our photos of the week, our wonderful photos of the week. This is the president disembarking Marine One on the south lawn of the White House, returning from the first family stay at Bedminster. You have the president here speaking. I'm just going to go through this very quickly. You can see what the president's doing. Here's the president joined by the First Lady delivering remarks during the signing of the proclamation of the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment on Tuesday, August 18th, in the Blue Room of the White House, which was a really big deal. Of course, the president pardoned Susan B. Anthony this week, for any of you who did not hear, because she was arrested for apparently illegally voting. And so he has, at the time, I suppose it was illegal, and so he has pardoned her, and of course also signing a proclamation of the 100th anniversary of the ratification of that 19th Amendment. And here we have our lovely First Lady talking with Director of National and International Outreach at the Library of Congress and other people, which you could see, and the Director of the Women's Suffrage Centennial Commission, all regarding this proclamation. So this is wonderful. This is very nice. There's the president's signature on that. And here you have the president disembarking Air Force One in Iowa. You have president participates in an Iowa disaster recovery briefing, which we know Iowa was hit very, very bad with a very, very large tornado, and it caused immense destruction to the farmers, to the fields, to the crops, and to their silos and buildings and properties. So it was a lot of destruction there, and the president was there, as you could see in these photos. These silos were like crushed like a tin can, it looks like. Really, really serious weather situation over there. And here we have the president arriving in Yuma as he's disembarking Air Force One. It's a beautiful picture there. And here he is on the ground. And here's the president at a sample of a border wall here on the construction of it. And very interesting, very, very interesting how this is going. And, of course, the president, who is a real estate developer. This man's worn more hard hats and been on job sites than any other legislator probably in Washington, D.C. So he knows about construction. He knows it well. Here's more pictures of the president during this, and he's showing about an updated section of the border wall construction on this wall. So it's wonderful. And here you have the president signing a plaque. He signed a retirement plaque for a member of the group there. And here they are. The vice president was also present for a White House coronavirus task force teleconference with governors. Here's a photo of that, and here's the president at the press briefing that he had given. Here's the vice president leaving. And here's the prime minister of Iraq who arrived at the White House. There's that greeting. Here's that meeting here. Right. Vice President Mike Pence, and you had Secretary Pompeo there. I'm glad to not see John Bolton there. Boy, what a neocon that man was, but we always knew it, didn't we? Lots of people present for this bilateral meeting here with his delegation, the Iraqi delegation. So who is that? Is that Lighthizer? I'm not sure if that's Lighthizer. Here they are. Here's the cabinet members, and there's the Iraqi delegation. So it's very nice. There's the president leaving as he's going to Pennsylvania. And here he is again. President made an unannounced stop. I think, was it here or was it in DC? I'm not sure where, to get a pizza. He heard it was the best pizza. Here it is. He heard it was the best pizza anywhere. Is this the one? Yeah, here it is. He made an unannounced stop to get a pizza from this place in Pennsylvania, in Old Forge, Pennsylvania. How nice is that, right? And there he is on his way back, and here's the coronavirus task force. I don't know what these people are doing all day long. I just really wish I understood what on earth they're doing for a living. I mean, there's only so much statistics you can run, so many data you can put into the computer to come up with, you can run so many statistical tests and analysis, but what do they do all day? I mean, what on earth does Deborah Bricks do all day? I just don't have any idea. There's no one dropping dead like flies. There's no piles of bodies laying anywhere. What the heck's going on, folks? When are we ever going to end this? Okay, I digress. Let's keep moving. Here's Vice President Mike Pence meets with NASA administrator. Okay, and we have the president delivering remarks at the Council for National Policy meeting in Pentagon City, Virginia. And the president delivers remarks. Again, more of those pictures there. And of course, we have photos now of the First Lady's restoration of the White House Rose Garden. Well, it's not a restoration yet. Check this out. This is the construction crew there in the Rose Garden. It's all ripped up. She's completely renovating it. This is definitely something Jackie O would have done. I mean, if it was necessary. From what I understand, Jackie Onassis, or Jackie Kennedy, did a lot of restoration within the White House itself. But here you have First Lady Melania Trump's historic restoration to the Rose Garden, as seen Saturday, August 1st. This project marks the first time in 60 years that the Rose Garden has been renewed. That's lovely. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait for the unveiling. So there it is. Look at all those pipes and all the, it doesn't look like much of a rose garden yet, but I will we are all waiting with bated breath, anticipating the reveal of the renovation. So it'll be wonderful. Masonry workers lay limestone pathways in the rose garden there. Very nice. And the work continues. The construction continues. Beautiful. Very nice. And there we have the grass down. It's all been reconstructed. There we go. And the bushes are being planted. Lovely. That is a lovely, lovely thing. Rose bushes are being replanted. There you go. And look how beautiful it's looking. Beautiful. Yeah, it's good to have those little sidewalks along the side outside there. It's where the press briefings are, outside. Hmm. Very nice. Lovely. Look at that. That looks just lovely. Really does. Beautiful. Very updated walkway there. Little, yeah, it's very nice. Look how beautiful that is, folks. Well, come to the blog and take a look. There's lots of pictures here on this. Lots of, oh, look at that. How beautiful. Look at from the aerial view is really a beautiful sight. Nice, beautiful landscaping. Beautiful. I wonder who the landscape architect was for that. So also this week, unfortunately, the president had to hold a service for his brother, Robert Trump, who passed away, as you know. And here is just a clip of the funeral procession there at the White House. I will screen share a little bit of this. Indeed, a tough day for the president and the first family as they send farewell to the to President Trump's brother, Robert Trump, and indeed a difficult day for the president and first family. So that's it for tonight, folks. I hope you all have a great weekend. I'm glad to see everybody. I don't know if you were getting notifications for this or not, but if you like the video tonight, if you like the report, please give us a thumbs up. It does help us get recommended, but you know we are having a lot of trouble with uh, social media these days. They are doing everything they can to censor us. But again, we're just doing what we can to keep our presence here as long as we can up until the election. So I just want to thank everybody for joining me. I hope you have a great weekend. We will be signing off for a few days to take a short holiday here at the GoldFish Report. And we will be back next weekend. We'll be back later in the week next week. We have a few reports to catch up on. And of course, we have our 555 report, which will be released a day in advance, one report in advance, so that you can all take a look at it and enjoy it. It will be released probably later tonight so that you can all enjoy the 555 report. Yes, it's time to go fishing. Absolutely. I hope you all have a chance to take a few days off, and I'm going to. And I, can't really go very far because of the fascist liberal governor in the state that I live in, who needs to put quarantines on people from out of state. Ay, ay, ay. Again, folks, where are all the body bags? Where's all the dead people piling up from this? Come on, enough is enough. Can't we all just kind of organize here and just say we've had enough? At some point, our health is our responsibility now that there's no pandemic anymore, right? I'm sorry if I'm sorry if I seem so realistic about this, but enough is enough. We will be looking forward to that Republican convention coming up soon. I don't know how they're going to end up doing this, whereas the president's going to actually, accept the nomination for president again for his reelection. I just know that it's never been more important in our lifetime to make sure we get this election right. And we need to make sure that this country never becomes a socialist country. It is America. If you want socialism, go to a socialist country. But that's not what our founding fathers intended when they formed this country. So a lot of things going on in the world, folks. A lot of things going on. Unless there's some breaking news, I probably won't be back until next weekend. So we will be back with our political theater report at the end of next week as well. So we're taking a few days off. I hope you all have a great weekend. And happy fishing, everybody. From the GoldFish Report, signing out. Thanks for everybody who joined us on Ascension Radio. You can stay tuned on Ascension Radio for our Meme Monday. Okay, we do the week in news through memes. And we were interrupted 5 times during the first part of that broadcast, which all of our viewers remember. And we I promised I would return on Monday night to finish it. So that's why it's in 2 parts. But so unfortunately, there might be a little bit of repeat, but not that much. We have wonderful things to share with you. A lot of the memes are visual. Some of them are video and audio. So people on Ascension Radio, listeners on Ascension Radio, will be able to at least appreciate most of it. So some of it is visual. You won't be able to see it. But for those who want to continue, you can go. I'm going to put this in the live chat here. Let's see. Oh, did a typo already. Okay, so here's the link to Ascension Radio. If you'd like to continue this report, you can go onto Ascension Radio, or not this report, but if you'd like to continue with another hour of GoldFish Report, this is the Meme Mondays. You can follow Ascension Radio, follow that link right there in the live chat, everybody. So if you're not, then and we end it here, then we will see you next time. So have a great weekend, and this concludes this edition of the GoldFish Report. Thanks for joining me.